Before getting things done becomes a system you use, it begins as a way of thinking. The key concepts in GTD explain why it works. Ideas like freeing your mind from holding reminders, maintaining a trusted system, defining clear next actions, and finding balance between control and perspective. In this section, we'll explore the essential principles that make GTD more than a set of lists. It's a complete framework for clarity, focus, and stress-free productivity. These concepts form the foundation for every practice and habit that follows. One of the most memorable insights from David Allen's Getting Things Done is the concept of having a mind like water. The phrase is borrowed from martial arts, where water is used as a metaphor for perfect balance and response. Water doesn't overreact or underreact, it simply responds appropriately to the force applied to it. Throw a small pebble into a pond, and you get small ripples. Throw a large stone, and you get larger ripples. But once the disturbance passes, the water returns to calm. In the context of GTD, a mind like water means reaching a mental state where you are neither overwhelmed by incoming demands nor sluggish in responding to them. Instead, you are able to engage with each new input in a way that is appropriate to its size and importance. You deal with what comes at you calmly, confidently, and proportionally. This state becomes possible when you trust your system. If you've captured all your tasks, clarified what each one means, organized them in the right place, and reviewed them regularly, then your mind no longer needs to constantly remind you of unfinished business. Your subconscious can relax. The mental energy that was previously spent on nagging thoughts is freed for creativity, problem-solving, and presence. Without GTD, most of us live in a state Allen calls psychic RAM. Our heads are cluttered with half-remembered obligations and random reminders that pop up at the wrong time. The result is tension and stress. With GTD, by contrast, you create conditions for a clear head and a relaxed body. You can respond to work and life demands the way water responds to stones, smoothly, naturally, and without wasted energy. Achieving a mind like water doesn't mean being passive. It means being responsive rather than reactive. It means trusting that you will engage with the right things at the right time. Over time, this practice develops into a sense of calm readiness. You're able to give full attention to what you're doing in the moment, knowing that everything else is under control. In short, mind like water is the ultimate expression of GTD. It is the state where your external system and your inner state of mind align. You gain clarity, composure, and confidence, qualities that allow you to bring your best self to every situation, without stress and without distraction. One of the most practical insights in getting things done is the 2-minute rule. It's a deceptively simple principle. If a task will take less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. Don't write it down. Don't put it on a list. Don't schedule it for later. Just get it done. Why is this so powerful? Because the time and energy required to capture, clarify, and organize a small task often exceeds the time it would take to simply complete it. For example, if you receive an email that requires only a quick reply, it's faster to respond on the spot than to track it. If you notice a light bulb is out in your office, it takes less energy to replace it immediately than to make a note about it. The 2-minute rule clears away small clutter. It prevents your system from filling up with tiny actions that create noise and drag down your focus. It also gives you the immediate satisfaction of completion. Dozens of these small wins add up to a noticeable sense of progress and momentum. However, the rule has boundaries. It is not an invitation to chase every little task at the expense of larger priorities. It's a guideline for efficiency. If you're in the middle of focused work, you may choose to capture instead of act. But as a default, the rule saves time, reduces friction, and keeps your lists lean and meaningful. The 2-minute rule is an example of Allen's pragmatic genius. It turns theory into habit. Over time, it trains you to spot quick wins, handle them on the spot, and keep your system free of unnecessary clutter.
The someday maybe list is one of the hidden treasures of the GTD methodology. It provides a safe holding place for ideas, dreams, and projects that you aren't ready to commit to but don't want to lose. It's where possibilities live. Books you might read, skills you might learn, trips you might take, or ventures you might start. This list serves two important purposes. First, it frees you from the burden of feeling guilty about ideas that are not actionable right now. Instead of letting them linger in your head, you externalize them, knowing you can revisit them later. Second, it preserves your creativity. The someday maybe list is a judgment-free zone where you can capture inspiration without the pressure of execution. Alan points out that many people underestimate the power of this list. Without it, you either clutter your next actions and projects lists with things you aren't really committed to, or you lose track of potentially valuable ideas altogether. With it, you give yourself permission to dream while keeping your active system lean and reliable. The someday maybe list works best when you review it periodically, perhaps during your weekly review. That way, ideas don't stagnate, and some can graduate into real projects when the timing is right. Ultimately, this list is a reminder that productivity is not just about doing, it's also about choosing what not to do, at least not yet. By maintaining a someday maybe list, you create mental space for both discipline and imagination.
The natural planning model is David Allen's framework for tackling projects in a way that mirrors how our minds naturally work. It has 5 stages: purpose, outcome, brainstorming, organization, and next actions. The first stage is defining purpose and principles. Why are you doing this project? What values or constraints apply? This step grounds the project in meaning and direction. The second stage is envisioning the outcome. What does done look like? What would success feel like? Creating a vivid picture of the end state provides motivation and clarity. The third stage is brainstorming. Here you allow ideas to flow freely, capturing all possibilities without judgment. This taps into your creativity and surfaces potential solutions. The fourth stage is organizing. You take the raw material from brainstorming and structure it into sequences, categories, or priorities. You create a map of how the project will unfold. The fifth and final stage is identifying next actions. This is where ideas become execution. What is the very next physical step that will move this project forward? The genius of the natural planning model is that it reflects how we already plan informally. For example, when you decide to go out for dinner, you naturally ask why, I'm hungry, envision the outcome, a nice meal, brainstorm options, Italian, Thai, or pizza, organize, decide on Thai, choose a restaurant, and take the next action, make a reservation. Allen simply formalized this intuitive process into a repeatable model. When applied consistently, the natural planning model eliminates overwhelm, clarifies purpose, and ensures that projects move forward logically and effectively.
The Horizons of Focus framework is GTD's way of linking daily actions with larger life purpose. It provides levels of perspective, from ground-level tasks to overarching meaning. At the ground level are current actions, phone calls, errands, and tasks. One level up are projects, short-term outcomes requiring multiple actions. Above that are areas of focus, your ongoing roles and responsibilities, such as career, family, health, or finances. Next come goals, specific objectives you want to achieve in the next 1 to 2 years. Beyond goals is vision, your picture of what life or work should look like in 3 to 5 years. And at the highest level is purpose and principles, the why that guides everything else. The power of Horizons of Focus is that it helps you align. It's easy to get lost in the weeds of daily tasks or to dream big without grounding in current reality. Horizons of Focus ensures that what you're doing at ground level supports the projects above it, which in turn align with your goals, vision, and purpose. Reflection across horizons also highlights gaps. Maybe you're achieving tasks and projects, but neglecting an area of focus, such as health or relationships. Or perhaps your projects are busy, but not moving you closer to your long-term vision. By regularly checking in at all horizons, you ensure coherence between action and meaning. This framework reminds us that productivity is not just about getting things done. It's about getting the right things done at every level of life.
The weekly review is the keystone habit of getting things done. While capture, clarify, organize, and engage are the visible steps of the workflow, the weekly review is the practice that holds the entire system together. Without it, even the most carefully maintained lists will drift out of date. With it, your system stays current, trustworthy, and energizing. The purpose of the weekly review is simple: to bring everything back to zero, to restore alignment between your commitments and your reality, and to regain perspective on your work and life.
During the review, you clear all inboxes, both physical and digital, so that no loose ends are lingering. You then go through each list systematically: next actions, projects, waiting for, someday maybe, ensuring that everything is accurate and up to date. You check your calendar, both past and future, to capture follow-ups and prepare for upcoming events. You refresh your commitments, identify new next actions, and close out anything that is no longer relevant. This ritual is more than just housekeeping. It is what creates trust in your system. When you know that you will look at everything every week, your mind stops nagging you with reminders. You gain the confidence to focus fully on the task at hand, because you know the rest is safely captured and will be reviewed. This psychological relief is one of the greatest benefits of GTD. The weekly review also serves as a time for reflection. It allows you to step back from the whirlwind of daily activity and see the bigger picture. Are your projects aligned with your goals? Are your actions moving you toward your desired outcomes? The review provides both tactical clarity and strategic perspective. Many practitioners describe it as the single most valuable hour of their week. Like any habit, the weekly review requires discipline. It's easy to skip when life gets busy, but that is exactly when it matters most. Without it, your system begins to decay, trust evaporates, and stress returns. With it, you maintain clarity, reduce anxiety, and stay in control. In short, the weekly review is the glue of GTD. It is the habit that transforms a set of lists into a living, breathing system of clarity and focus. By practicing it consistently, you ensure that your GTD practice remains strong, resilient, and truly stress-free. The weekly review is the single most important habit in GTD. It's what keeps your system alive, trusted, and energizing. David Allen breaks it into 3 stages: get clear, get current, and get creative. You begin by getting clear. Gather everything that's accumulated during the week: papers, receipts, notes, meeting minutes, and place them into your inbox. Then process each inbox, physical and digital, until it's empty. Finally, perform a quick mind sweep. Capture anything that's still on your mind, unfinished tasks, ideas, or worries, and get them out of your head and into your system. Next, get current. Review your past calendar entries to catch any follow-ups or missed actions. Then scan forward through your upcoming calendar to prepare for what's coming. Review your next actions lists to confirm what's still relevant. Check your waiting for list to track delegated items. Finally, review your projects list to ensure every active project has at least one clear next action. Lastly, get creative. Look over your someday maybe list. You might find ideas ready to activate. Review any checklists you maintain for recurring events, such as travel or meetings. And finally, take a few minutes to brainstorm or capture new ideas and opportunities that have emerged during the week. When you finish, your system is refreshed, your mind is clear, and you regain that GTD state of calm focus. The weekly review is not just maintenance, it's renewal. It's where control and perspective come back into balance. The strength of any GTD system lies not in its tools, but in the habits that sustain it. David Allen calls these the Keystone habits. Simple, repeatable behaviors that keep the system alive and trusted. Let's look at 4 of them: capture, clarify, review, and engage. The capture habit is where everything begins. It's about always having tools at hand, a notebook, an app, a voice memo, or an email inbox, so you can instantly record anything that has your attention. When you capture consistently, your brain learns to let go, knowing it won't lose track of commitments. The key is immediacy. As soon as something pops up, get it out of your head and into your system. Next comes the clarify habit. Here, you train yourself to distinguish between stuff, projects, and next actions. Stuff is anything that's entered your world but hasn't yet been defined. You decide whether it's actionable or not. If it's not, it's either reference, trash, or a someday maybe. If it is actionable, you ask, is this a single action or a project that requires multiple steps? Once you identify the next physical action, you remove the ambiguity that causes hesitation and procrastination. The review habit is the backbone of GTD. The weekly review is your system's refresh button, the time to empty inboxes, update lists, and restore perspective. Treat it as a non-negotiable calendar event. Without it, your system decays and trust fades. With it, you regain clarity, control, and creative focus. It's the habit that transforms GTD from theory into flow. Finally, the engage habit is about how you choose what to do in the moment. GTD uses the 4 criteria model: context, time, energy, and priority. Context asks, where am I, and what tools do I have available? Time asks, how much can I accomplish before the next commitment? Energy asks, what am I capable of right now? And priority asks, of all the things I could do, what matters most? When you use these filters, you make grounded, confident choices instead of reacting to whatever seems loudest. Together, these 4 habits, capture, clarify, review, and engage, are what keep GTD running smoothly. They create a trusted rhythm for your life, one that balances structure with freedom and allows you to operate with calm focus no matter how complex your world becomes. So, this brings us to the end of this section, in which we discussed the key concepts of GTD. In the next section, we will drill into some of the tips, tricks, and insights of GTD. We look forward to seeing you there.